Okay, welcome everybody. We're here at Waima Orchard with Mark Erickson, the owner of Waima, on my right, and Warren Grant, who's the orchard manager, on my left. Welcome Warren, Mark. And we're here in a beautiful sunny Hawke's Bay day today to go through with Mark and Warren one of the blocks of jazz that's on their property, because as you'll hear later, it's a real standout. But first of all, before we get into that, Mark, can you just give us an introduction of Waima and how the property's evolved to where it is? Thanks, Ross.
As everyone on the Northern Loop knows, I like to correct Ross every so often, so I'm going to correct him and say I'm a part owner of Waima Fruit Company, Waima Orchards, in conjunction with my mother and father. So yeah, my wife and I run it with my mother and father, and fourth generation on this property, so caretakers of the land. Waima in Māori means clear white water. So we're very fortunate. We've got beautiful soils here, and Ross and I have been in partnership together for the nurturing of these crops for probably the last 15 years. So yeah, Warren, our assistant manager, he's been with us for 2 years, and he's got an abundance of knowledge with tree husbandry and a lot of technical aspects too.
This has been a stunning block in terms of its productivity and profitability now for 3 years in a row. And just to give you some idea, the jazz average in this region averages about 65 tonnes per hectare. Normally it packs out pretty well, about 80% class 1. This particular block that's behind us has been doing somewhere between 100 tonne, and this year it did 115 tonne gross per hectare. It packed out at around 85% class 1. The colour was good and the fruit size was good. So although the yield was very high, like way higher than the average, nearly double the average, the fruit quality was superb. So we just want to discuss what they think has actually contributed to this block being such a high performer. So Mark, what do you reckon it's down to?
Well, we talk about the 3 C's, so calm, consistent and canopy.
Yeah, I reckon we should go in and have a look at the trees, Mark, and have a look at what's part of them. So let's do that. Another thing I'd like Mark and Warren to talk about is how they get down to their crop load target, because I think this is one of the fundamentals, is Waima gets down to their optimum crop load target more quickly than a lot of other growers do, and I reckon that's putting a lot of the resources that the leaf, that the tree produces into the fruit that they want to harvest earlier on. I think that's quite significant, but you want to explain how you do that, Mark. First with the chemical thinning, and then how Warren manages to get that fruit number at hand thinning. So yeah.
So yeah, Ross and I, we have these different recipes from the year before or the year before that. We just keep refining things. It's a living document effectively, and what's working for us doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work the year after, but hand in hand it's been working well for us. The girdle's actually been a real big positive and a big part of that success, because it's given us a reliable flower number and strong flowers going into the chemical thinning. So Ross and I, we come up with those recipes, we try to get the crop load down very early, so the primary sprays are very important to us, and Ross and I will come up with a figure. Sometimes I might put a little bit extra in there as a bonus, what I call the feel-good factor. But I am quite an aggressive chemical thinner, because for my way of thinking, if you can get the crop load down as quick as you can without overdoing it, because it's all about making sure we've got our canopy full with fruit, then obviously it's going to pay us big dividends down the track.
Okay, another little advertorial here for OrchardNet. So Waima are very good users of OrchardNet. And every year, every block has a target of what they're going to farm to. And this particular block, we set a target last winter actually, that we wanted to farm to about 110 tonnes per hectare of a 162 gram piece. And as you look at this tree, and perhaps Jack can sort of show you the tree, to achieve that sort of number, we needed to harvest, we thought, about 425 fruit a tree. Now you don't always get what you thin to in a bin. There's always this pick out that we call it. But last year Warren, as the orchard manager, had a target to thin these to, and the target was 483 fruit per tree at thinning. So you got it right, Warren. You want to just tell us what you did to actually achieve that?
Yeah, just following on from that, Ross here. Ross does very good work setting up these plans with Orchard Net for what we want to thin to. We'll do pre-counts after we put a chemical thinner through before we hand thin, and we'll get a feel for what we need to thin to on the tree. Whether what we aim for is ideally everything in singles, but that's not always possible. Having done the pre-counts, we garner some good information throughout the block. We set up a recipe of how we're going to hand thin and what number we're going to hand thin to. We'll set up very simple rules for the thinners when they come in for their hand thin, and we'll stick to those rules and monitor that very closely.
Okay, so everyone loves a pruning demonstration, so now we're going to do a pruning demonstration on these trees, take you through what we're doing. Just to give you the fundamentals, we're actually targeting 115 tonne this coming year. We reckon on this block we need about 2.5 buds per fruit. That's where we've been the last few years, and we're happy with the vigor cropping balance that produces. So that means we're targeting about 1150 buds per tree. And we've got to leave the best 1150 buds on the tree. We've got to prune the tree so there's good light to all parts. Typically this is a 3.7 metre row spacing. We've decided that the tree cropping height wants to be no more than 4.1 metres, which Warren's got a measurement on his hydroladder. So 4.1 metres maximum height. We're aiming for 24 branches in the tree. And now Warren's going to take us through how he achieves those goals.
Yeah, we can't stress enough the importance of good, consistent pruning. So I'm just about to remove a dominating branch here in the upper part of the tree. We take our big cuts out of the tree first. I'll normally go through with a chainsaw actually throughout all the blocks and make those decision cuts. So then when we send the pruners through on ladders, they are not having to think too hard. We'll set them some very simple basic rules. There's another removal of a branch here. That's my 2 cuts up here, and now I'm ready to prune the top of this tree. We always seal our cuts with a bit of what we call garrison. There's also a product called back seal, just to protect the tree against any disease. Starting at the top here, we'll leave what we call one sap drawer on the centre of the tree, and I'll remove any long upright growth first, or anything very close in to the trunk. And then I'll just follow my branch along and look for big spur clusters or wide arms which aren't required. And then I'll just move my way down the tree, follow each branch and be systematic in how you prune. Then things are not overlooked and missed. The rules that we apply for our what we call our detail pruning, we take any upright branches that are right along the plane of the branch. Anything that's laying along the top of the branch that's long and rank we'll take. We'll try and leave side arms where we've got nice open space and light. And then on the ends, we sometimes will single the end off. When we've got competition here, we want to reduce the bud numbers. The only other rule we have in here when we have far too many bud numbers and bud density is we will halve up some of these bud clumps, or sometimes total removal. In this situation here, I'm just going to remove this particular clump here and halve it, instantly reducing the numbers. I might even do the same here and just halve that, just to reduce the numbers at thinning time.
Warren,
Yep.
get into it.
here we go now. So I make my decisions on the fly as I go, and I'll follow each branch. And over the top here has to go a young branch like this. We want it to grow more, so I'm going to run it very slender. Once I've done my main cuts off here, I'm just going to double check if there's anything I've missed. So I might do a few spurs in there, a couple in there. Maybe I'll get rid of that one, I don't like that one now, and just leave that spur. That's a finished product.